Okay, everyone, just a short video today. An update on Macron v. Owens lawsuit for defamation filed by the President and First Lady of France, Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron, against podcaster Candace Owens. A hearing was held on July 27th on the motion to dismiss filed by Owens. Now, I was aware the hearing had taken place, but there wasn't much reporting about it, and the quotes I found in one article caught my attention, and not in a good way, especially quotes from the judge. So, I put the article aside for a couple of weeks. Then I realized it's not as if the article gave us a transcript of the hearing. So at this point, I can't tell what the judge will do when he issues a ruling, but the article does reveal something important. The judge doesn't want to dismiss the case, and we should pay attention to that. It means the judge likes the merits, and the motion to dismiss filed by Owens isn't about the merits at all. It's about the statute of limitations and the choice of forum, the jurisdiction where the lawsuit was brought. Now, those are technical grounds of dismissal. Now, because Owens incorporated her entities in the state of Delaware, she should submit to personal jurisdiction in Delaware, submit to being sued in Delaware. Her attorneys even claim that the lawsuit should have been filed in Tennessee, where she lives and works. Well, she should have thought of that when she started her businesses by incorporating in Delaware. The burden of defending the case in a distant jurisdiction is all on her. Nobody forced her to incorporate in Delaware, and she should submit to being sued in Delaware. Now, the other technical defense, statute of limitations, is viewed as causing problems for the Macrons, but only if the judge doesn't consider the fact that the defamation is a continuing injury. Now, none of the reporting mentioned that term, although it's the key to understanding the statute of limitations in a case like this. Now, in a typical case, for example, we have an injury, say, from a car accident. Now, soon after that, the plaintiff discovers a back injury. In most jurisdictions, the statute begins when the injury is discovered or reasonably should have been discovered. So, I would say, it begins when the doctor says you have a fracture of the L2 vertebra or whatever it is. Now, in some instances, if you delay the treatment despite severe pain, I don't know why anyone would do that, but if the delay is unreasonable, say 10 years, the court might say, well, the statute began to accrue from the date of the car accident because after 10 years, it's difficult to gather the evidence, find the witnesses, etc., and that's not fair to the defendants, whoever is going to be sued. But that would be a typical injury case with a definite start date to the statute of limitations and no huge controversy because most people will behave reasonably after a car accident and back pain. Now, a different type of injury, though, is the continuing injury in which the harm is ongoing. Now, that's what I believe we have with the Macron v. Owens case because, Owens says repeatedly and has said repeatedly for years that Brigitte Macron was born a man and will die a man, quote unquote. She's allegedly a transgender individual who was born as Jean-Michel Trogneux and assumed the identity of Brigitte Trogneux after a transgender surgery. I mean, crazy stuff. Jean-Michel is Brigitte's brother. Brigitte has had 3 children. She's definitely not a man. Now, Owens also accuses Brigitte and Emmanuel Macron of having an incestuous relationship. She says they're blood relatives, which is false. Owens has even accused Brigitte of being a pedophile. Owens sells merchandise calling Brigitte Time Magazine's Man of the Year. So it's not just one discrete injury. It's a series of injuries. Now, in a case like this with a continuing injury, each discrete incident begins the statute of limitations all over again. So, limitations isn't such a big issue with a continuing injury. So, I don't understand why the news media have been harping on it, and I've not read one legal analysis that focuses on the concept of continuing injury, which is a big deal in considering the statute of limitations. Now, apparently, the judge said during the hearing that if the French statute of limitations applies, it's a wrap, because the French statute is 3 months, and the Macrons filed after 3 months, but within 2 years of the first injury they suffered from the defamation. Now, the Delaware statute of limitations is 2 years, and I don't know the full extent of the judge's statement. Maybe he was just saying, it's a wrap, pause, and now let's talk about continuing injuries. And maybe the news reporters just left that part out of their reporting. My observation is because it's a continuing injury, even if the French statute of limitations governs, the Macrons filed their lawsuit on time. The attorneys for the Macrons could have made a big issue of that during the hearing, but according to the reporting, which may or may not be accurate, the attorneys for the Macrons focused on a different argument that says the U.S. courts cannot apply the French statute of limitations at all because it violates a federal statute regarding foreign defamation judgments, which requires that the foreign law must provide as much protection as U.S. law to be enforced. Now, without going too much into that, in my view, the Macrons should prevail on the statute of limitations issue because of the continuing injury. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.